You are 8 years old, sitting inside a cart that smells like raw gasoline, wearing a helmet that wobbles because it is far too big for your head. Your father spent his entire month's savings buying this beat-up frame, and as he kneels down in the freezing cold pit lane, he grabs your shoulders, looks you in the eye, and tells you to breathe. When the green flag drops, your engine stalls. The entire field roars past you, leaving you stranded in a cloud of thick blue smoke. Tears sting your eyes behind the visor, but on lap 2, something shifts. The cart isn't a machine anymore. It feels like an extension of your body. You feel the tire grip through your seat, the asphalt humming under your boots. You finish dead last, but on the drive home, you talk for 3 straight hours about every single turn. Your father smiles, quiet, already thinking about the extra shifts he will have to work at the factory to pay for the next race. He sells his old fishing boat and gives up every weekend just to keep your tires spinning. You are too young to realize the sheer size of his sacrifice, but the fire inside your head is lit, and it will never go out. By 16, you are level 2, the club racer.
You managed to win a local championship, but the single-seater ladder to elite racing costs more than your family will ever see in a lifetime.
So you make a quiet choice that hurts. You buy an old battered sedan with your dad, strip out the back seats, weld it in a cage, and start racing on weekends against local mechanics and plumbers. This is pure amateur racing. Nobody here gets famous, and everyone pays for their own tires out of pocket. But while the wealthy kids race in empty space, you learn how to fight door to door in a massive pack, trading paint and taking hits on every single corner. You get tough. You learn when to dive into a gap and when to hold back. You start beating men 3 times your age. Yet, every night you lie awake staring at the ceiling, watching the open-wheel ladder move higher without you, wondering if your real dream is passing you by. At 18, level 3 hits. A local team manager watches you win in your battered sedan and offers you a test drive in an open-wheel racing car. The second you step on the gas, everything changes. The front wings crush the car into the track, and the cornering speeds make your chest feel tight. You set the fastest lap of the entire afternoon. The team manager is grinning, offering you a seat for the season, until he hands you the contract with the price tag. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for 1 year. You look over at the other young drivers in the pit lane. Their parents drive luxury cars and wear expensive suits. Some of those drivers are much slower than you, but they get the seat because their bank accounts can back it up. That night, your father sits at the kitchen table, head in his hands, offering to put a second mortgage on the house. You look at his tired face and say no. You close the door on the open-wheel dream with your own hands. You cry alone in your room that night, furious at the world, furious that talent isn't enough. But over the next few months, that anger turns into something sharper. You realize there is more than one way to make it. By 21, you reach level 4, the GT Rookie. You discover endurance racing, a world where car companies build the vehicles and actually pay fast drivers to win. You talk your way into a small team, sharing a heavy, powerful sports car with a wealthy amateur who funds the entry. Your job is simple: drive the fastest laps, save the tires, and fix the mistakes your teammate makes. For the first time in your entire life, a racing team hands you an envelope with money inside. It isn't much, but you take that cash home and hand it straight to your father. He tries to push it back, but you insist. It is the proudest moment of your life. The heavy sports car slides through every turn, but you already spent years wrestling a broken sedan, so your hands know the language naturally. You don't just drive fast. You learn how to nurse a braking car across the finish line. During a major national race, a corporate scout stands on the pit wall, watching you bring the car home in first place, and writes your name down in his notebook. At 24, you reach level 5, the factory driver. A major manufacturer signs you to a real contract with a proper salary. You go from paying to race to getting paid to race, crossing the line that stops almost every driver in the world. You travel across continents, competing at iconic circuits with millions of dollars on the line. Every weekend is a relentless grind of flights, hotels, and simulator training. You meet Elena, who runs the team's media department. She sees right through the ego and recognizes the boy who gave up his single-seater dream to save his father's house. You fall in love, finding the one person who truly understands what this life costs. The pressure is constant. A single bad weekend means the team starts looking at the next hungry kid in line, But you hold your ground because every inch of your seat was earned with talent, not money. By 27, you enter level 6, the endurance racer. You step up to top-tier sports cars, sharing a single machine with 2 teammates in grueling 24-hour battles. You race through blinding rain, thick dark, and sheer exhaustion at 200 miles an hour. In the middle of the night, the track turns into a dark tunnel where split-second misjudgments mean hitting a concrete barrier. You learn to rely on feel rather than sight, drawing on every lesson from your old club racing days. Elena is pregnant now, expecting your son, and the danger of your profession hits differently. You have seen the crashes and the empty garages, yet you keep pushing. Standing in the dark behind the pit box while your teammate drives, listening to the engine roar past, you wait for your next stint, fighting off fatigue to keep the car at the front. At 30, you become level 7, the lead driver. The entire team revolves around your setup and your pace. You take the wheel for qualifying and drive the high-stakes final stint to bring the car home. Your son is 3 now, watching you through a phone screen from thousands of miles away as you jump between time zones. The quiet heartbreak of the sport is missing the moments that matter back home while chasing victory on the track. You pull off a massive victory in a 12-hour race, climbing out of the cockpit completely spent as your team hoists you onto their shoulders. You aren't just fast anymore. You are the steady pillar everyone looks to when the storm hits. By 33, you hit level 8, the world champion. The title fight comes down to a brutal final race in pouring rain, your ultimate element. You drive the stint of your life on a treacherous, waterlogged surface, pulling away from your rival lap by lap without making a single mistake. The pressure is suffocating, but your hands are steady. When the checkered flag waves, the pit lane explodes into tears and cheers. You skip the trophy presentation for a moment to run straight to Elena and your 6-year-old son, lifting him into your arms and holding them tight. Knowing this sweet moment is the real prize. At 37, you reach level 9, the immortal, winning the legendary 24-hour classic overall after years of agonizing heartbreak, late-night mechanical failures, and ruined dreams. In the closing minutes of the race, with heavy rain falling and a younger driver charging hard in your rearview mirrors, you rely on 30 years of pure instinct. You cover every line, brake on the absolute edge, and cross the finish line to carve your name permanently into racing history. Now, in your late 60s at level 10, the legend, you sit quietly on a bench by the pit wall, watching your young grandson strap into a small red cart. His hands shake inside his oversized gloves as your son kneels down to adjust his helmet, whispering the exact same advice your own father gave you decades ago. Your neck aches and your stiff joints carry the permanent cost of every crash. But as that small engine roars to life, you smile softly, watching the green flag drop and knowing the endless cycle is starting all over again.